Lots of transfer stories this morning, including a medical to be booked for a big summer transfer. We're looking at Urian Timber, the update coming out of that breaking news story last night. Samuel McBell updates us on the situation with Kai Havertz. We're looking at Chelsea, and they're entering the race for Gabby Veiga, and have Tottenham pulled out of the race for David Raya. All that and more. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed and the bell notifications turned on. Do it now. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm not going any further until you do it. That's it. That's the one. So make sure you miss no more videos. And of course, follow us on TikTok as well. Scan that QR code or click the link in the description. It's a done deal show. Let's do it. Gabby Veiga has had a breakthrough season at Celta Vigo. Very highly rated playmaker. I know not everybody is familiar with him, and I'm not going to sit here and profess and pretend to be an expert on this young man. I'm not. But what I read about him and what I've seen about him, there is clearly amazing raw talent there. I can understand why Liverpool are interested. They need that midfield quality to be improved. But Chelsea also, with lots of exits, especially with Saudi coming in and buying up what feels like half their squad, big improvements are needed. Now, according to this report from the Evening Standard, Chelsea have fully joined the battle. And it's Mauricio Pochettino who's really pushing hard for this deal. It's a player that he has been scouting and monitoring for a period of time. He really believes can elevate Chelsea to that next level. Now, what's really intriguing about this deal is there's a 40 million euro, 40 million euro, so around low mid 30s release clause for the individual, which makes him very, very affordable and attractive to teams. In 2023, picking up a young player with his capabilities with a very high ceiling is very difficult to do. But there seems to be a number of bargains around this summer in that sort of region and that kind of price. Maybe now these players are realizing I need a lower buyout clause for me to be able to move on, because so many players nowadays get priced out of moves. We're seeing at the moment, young Hoyland, 30, 40 million pound was the valuation of the player, but Atalanta want near on 100 million euros for Manchester United to buy him. So this is going to be an intriguing one for Chelsea. They need to improve the midfield. They missed out on Ugarte. Now, this is a different profile of player. We know Chelsea are also looking at your Lavias. Of course, they're looking heavily at Caicedo as well. But this is one to watch in the coming weeks. In the same paper, there's also a report today that Nicholas Jackson is set for his Chelsea medical. And to read this to you, it says he's reportedly set to undergo a medical at Chelsea this week. The Blues have stepped up their pursuit of the Villarreal forward, who is said to have an agreement on personal terms. Yesterday, reports suggested that Chelsea needed to hold further talks with their La Liga counterparts over the exact structure of the deal, with Jackson possessing a £29 million release clause in his current contract. A number of Spanish outlets are claiming that the Senegal international will travel to London for his medical this week and sign a 5-year deal at Stamford Bridge. And this is again, I see a lot of fans beg for this. And then I see, maybe it's the same people hypocrisize being hypocrites, or maybe it's a different group. But this is one of those obscure signings I never expected Chelsea to go for. Maybe a little bit like Gabby Veiga. They're not names, in my view, in terms of all the stream. I'm streaming once, twice a day, 3 or 4 bits of content a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week for years. And neither of these names have come up regularly from any of the Chelsea fans, as an example, that watch our shows. And we have thousands of them. So they're kind of obscure signings in that way. Players that you may not necessarily expect Chelsea to have gone for. They're not obvious players for the striker positions and midfield areas. And sometimes that can be scoffed at. But at the same time, there's lots of bargains out there. There's lots of quality players out there that may not be young superstars, highly fashionable, highly commercial, and on the tips of everybody's tongues. That does not mean that they will not go on to be absolute stars. What I've read about Jackson, I've said it on other streams. I'm not going to suddenly become a hypocrite. I've not read great things. I've read good things, but not great things about him and his talent. But Chelsea fans, you've clearly been researching him in the past few days. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings in relation to this deal? Now, of course, the big bombshell last night, Urian Timber's move to Arsenal came from absolutely nowhere. Not a soul expected it. I'm already seeing the negative Nelly Arsenal fans moan about it. I do not understand why. This is a highly talented, versatile, highly technical football player. Now, does that transcend into the Premier League? Does he become, he's 22 years of age. Does he become a leading light for Arsenal? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. But in terms of the talent, Urian Timber is top class. Now, the story here, as it reads, says that Arteta and Edu are seemingly turning attentions to strengthening the Arsenal's defence amid long-standing running chase with top midfielder Declan Rice. According to The Athletic, Arsenal have now submitted initial 30 million offer, as we know. Ajax are believed to want 50 million, but there is apparently optimism that a deal can be struck for the former Manchester United target. And I believe that, anywhere between 35 and 40 million, I've got a feeling they're going to pick this guy up for. And again, it represents tremendous value. Return on the investment is going to be high because I do think Urian Timber is a player that in the coming years is going to become a 60, 70, 80 million pound value player based on the performances that he puts out. This man can play centre back and right back. He can play in an inverted level. And I think somebody like Lee Gunner, and I name him because he'll be on the show later today, 3:30. Make sure you tune in. He's been begging for highly capable defenders to play in these fullback roles. Now he's got one. Surely there should be happiness here and delight. And wow, we're moving like a real football club, securing big contracts to keep your star players at the club, breaking the British transfer record for Declan Rice is what you're attempting to do. You're looking at the likes of Lavia. You're looking at the likes of Caicedo still. Urian Timber. I know there's question marks over Kai Havertz, but when you look at the success rate of all the signings, over 15, over 15 million pound, over 15 to 20 million pound by Mikel Arteta, the success rate is massively high. So even when it comes to Kai Havertz, there should be an air of optimism. But this Timber deal, there's a feeling at the moment that this could escalate and progress very, very quickly indeed. Now, we mentioned there Kai Havertz, and Samuel McBell has put out a piece today, and these are headlines from it, but please go and read all the articles surrounding these deals and educate yourself. But it says that Arsenal make an improved verbal offer of 60 million for Chelsea forward Kai Havertz. Now, you know me, verbal offer, official offer, I think they're the same thing. Or I don't differentiate between them because that's just PR and semantics. Guarantee of 55 million. Board agree on a broad agreement on personal terms have been reached. So it does feel like the Kai Havertz deal is coming to could be coming to a swift conclusion as well. And you look at the Rice situation, Havertz, Timber, they all look very advanced. And when I say advanced, I explained this last night. So you'll get comments beforehand, but initially you've got to seek out, and touch base with the clubs via intermediaries. Would there be the potential to sell this player at a reasonable price? Step one. Step two, you reach out to the player, you create a relationship, you have initial discussions, advanced discussions around personal terms, the status they would have at the club, the direction you're going in. You sell them the idea. They eventually agree to personal terms. Then you get into serious conversations with the football club. Generally, this is done through verbal offers or unofficial offers, as the media calls it, but I just call it bidding. Then, when you get to a stage where Arsenal are at with these deals, where they're almost at the thresholds of where the deal is going to be accepted, you are very advanced because the next step is it being complete, the deal being agreed, a done deal. Then you just do medicals and complete the deal. So you're right at the end of the process of all three of these deals. For Arsenal to be at that stage on the 20th of June, if they can close this off in the next 7 to 10 days and have these three players in and have the remainder of the summer to bolster some other areas of real importance, this could be another tremendous, tremendous summer for Arsenal. Now, staying in North London, I wanted to get your opinions on this. Paul O'Keefe, a very well-respected intermediary in football, has stated that Spurs look set to pull out of any deal for David Raya as they explore other options. There's a goalkeeper here who my dyslexic brain will not even allow me to attempt to pronounce his name right now. It's gone. I apologize. It says is one name under consideration alongside other leading contenders. But 40 million is the reported asking price. Is that really too much for David Raya? Genuine question to Spurs fans and rivals watching. Is that really too much money for him? And the surname of that goalie's come back into my head, Vicario. There we go. I got it. Sorry. I'm dyslexic. It happens sometimes. But I think he is worth 40 million. I don't understand what Spurs are looking for. Maybe there's no money left at Spurs right now. We did see Daniel Levy state just a few short weeks ago that the new manager is going to have to work with the academy. We've spent a lot in the past and it hasn't worked. Maybe they're hamstrung. Maybe there's a lot of debt, player debt. This is that they owe. The amount of players they've bought, they pay out of our amortization. But if they keep failing and you keep having to buy, eventually you build a huge debt book, which is hard to manage. Man United are always going through this because we have failed projects and need to have overhauls. And when you have to have overhauls on a regular basis, you create a bottleneck problem financially later on down the line. It's very, very dangerous indeed. So maybe that's what's going on. But Spurs need a new goalkeeper and they need one of real quality. You're seeing Chelsea talk about keeping Kepa for a season. Big mistake in my view. If Spurs end up with anybody of Forrester's level or similar for a season, it's a problem. There are goalkeepers like Costa, Onana, Raya, all available for that 40 to 50 million pound mark. In 2023, that is not just an important, but it's an absolutely essential investment in your team and squad. Having a capable goalkeeper, one, in terms of stopping shots is key, but being able to use their feet is paramount to go into the next level as a football club. All the best teams in Europe currently have goalies of that ilk. To not have one is criminal negligence, as far as I'm concerned. But look, as ever, I want all your thoughts and opinions on these stories today. Jackson Medical expected very, very soon. Veiga on his way to Chelsea. What's your thoughts on that? Urian Timber and Kai Havertz updates. Arsenal fans, talk to me. And Spurs fans, where are you at with this latest frustration in the transfer market? Until next time, everybody, look after yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And make sure you've got the bell notifications turned on because the algorithm is not your friend. So make sure you're signed up. Take care. Goodbye. Look after yourselves. See you soon.